So I'm inviting to the stage moderator of this discussion is Olena Sotnik, advisor of the Deputy Prime Minister of European and Euro-Atlantic Integration.
Коли вони приходять в сукнях. Це дуже незручно. Тому пояс наших.
So we are waiting for Olena Sotnik to begin this concluding panel of our first day. And we need to wait a few more moments. So I will tell you that panelists are Ruslan Strelets, Minister of Environmental Protection and Natural Resources of Ukraine, Andriy Kostin, Prosecutor General of Ukraine, Igor Zhovkva, Deputy Head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, and Dmytro Kuleba, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. And we are waiting them to get on the stage. So, Olena Sotnik is here, and I'm glad to invite you on the stage. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone, and we start our last but not least, of course, panel. And first of all, I want to say that I think that it is absolutely unique conference because today, historical day, we gathered together so many ministers of ecology in Kyiv. The last time it was, I think, 20 years ago, when they came here and been participating in such level of the discussions. I think that that's absolutely a success, but this success, first of all, because of the efforts of our colleague organizers and my distinguished panelists. So it's Ruslan Strelets, the Minister of Environmental Protection and Natural Resources of Ukraine. Oh, sorry. Then Andriy Kostin, Prosecutor General of Ukraine, and Igor Zhovkva, Deputy Head of Office of the President of Ukraine. And this panel will be dedicated to the very important initiative which continues the idea of the President, which he announced on the COP27, about the setting up the international global platform for the assessment of the environmental damages of the war. And first of all, I will ask Ruslan Strelets to tell us and to present the idea of the declaration which we are going to discuss with different international partners. And this declaration will give the start for the setting up of this global platform. Ruslan, please.
Thank you, Olena. Dear colleagues, dear participants, excellencies, there is one thing without which Ukraine wouldn't have survived. Without it, our prisoners would be impossible. This is unity. The unity of our citizens helped when Kyiv was given 3 days to resist. The unity of our partners helps us to hold on today. Peace, sustainable development, and healthy environment are impossible without unity. The environment has no borders. The entire civilized world has united to protect the environment. And today, the entire civilized world is united with Ukraine. You see the presentation, and today's forum is called United for Justice, United for Nature. Our main goal is to realize, unite, and have the legal platform for all countries that are ready to take steps to prevent future wars, to share their experience. And this experience was put into a common basket of experience and results, resulting in new documents recognized by all participants of the future platform. Since the first day of the war, we, as a country, have been doing something that no one else in the history of making has done. We are creating unified methods for assessing environmental damage caused by the war. An important track is the consolidation of the concept of ecocide in the system of international law. I believe that the platform can become one of the platforms where the heated discussion that are currently taking place in the European Parliament can finally come to the end. Collecting data on environmental damage caused by war is very important. Only by systemizing and working with the data can we take joint steps with the participation countries. All these will allow us to increase the level of expert and technical support. The experience of the partner country can bring a new focus, a new angle to the problem. Such a platform could result not only the development of environmental restoration measures, but also in the development of a legal mechanism for recording and specific crime to recognition the cost of environmental damage in international institutions. I am confident that this platform will help raise the understanding of losses from ecosystem services to a new level. This is something that is sometimes overlooked, but which is really for basis of our safe life. Therefore, the declaration provides for agreement on future work to create such a platform. I'm confident that the countries will show their readiness to prevent future wars by joining, because the creation of such a platform, which was announced by President Zelensky on COP27, like Olena said, should prove to any aggressor that war is expensive not only in terms of the cost of military equipment, but also in terms of environmental damage. Today we are presenting the draft declaration. It will be sent to all countries. We expect that many countries will join this declaration. We are expecting the first responses, perhaps even official joining at the COP28 conference. Once a declaration is adopted, we will create a platform. I invite everyone to join our initiative for the sake of justice and the healthy environment. This platform will bring together politicians, experts, scientists, civil society and lawyers. Its creation is part of the action plan to implement Point 8, and Point 8 of Peace Formula is to stop ecocide and to collect reparation from the aggressor for the destroyed environment, for the destroyed nature. This platform will continue to the register of damages launched in Reykjavik this year. The main thing is the willingness to join the global goal. Suggestions, comments, and adjustments or corrections are welcome. We are open to discussion. As a result, we must adopt a consensus document what will suit absolutely all countries, regardless of what time of climate zone they are in. Join this declaration for the sake of unity and justice for the environmental. Thank you very much, and Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Thank you, Minister. And with this optimistic plans, I think we can move on to our Prosecutor General, Andriy Kostin. And today, during this first working day, we've been discussing a lot all the challenges which we have during the different kind of investigations of cases, both of ecocide, but also war crimes in Ukraine. And your colleague, Deputy, she explained to us that, of course, Ukrainian position is unique. We are in a situation which nobody probably been before. So you, as a Prosecutor General, can you please elaborate a little bit? How should we encourage and engage, first of all, our international partners, international expertise, but also what you are doing as a, I would say, unique institution, because the quantity of the cases like enormous. So what are the challenges and what is your solution?
Thank you, Elena. Excellencies, distinguished guests. Today's panel discussions have manifested, and I will echo Minister again and again, have manifested the power of unity among representatives of the international organizations, politicians, experts, lawyers, prosecutors, as well as non-governmental organizations and civil society organizations community. And we are united around the simple truth. Environment should not be a silent victim of war, and it is our duty to undertake meaningful efforts to ensure respect and protection to environment. What needs to be done is not only to recognize the fact that the war of aggression waged by Russian Federation against Ukraine caused significant damage to the environment and natural habitat in Ukraine, in neighboring states and globally, but to secure effective response that rests upon following pillars. We need to define proper legal framework for the crimes damaging and impacting environment. We need to track, assess, and record the immediate and long-lasting damage and harm caused to natural environment. We need to undertake efforts that, on one hand, mitigate existing consequences and, on the other hand, prevent their future repetition, while at the same time aim to restore equilibrium in favor of natural environment, including, inter alia, reparation mechanisms. We need to ensure full accountability of the Russian Federation as a state responsible for the initiation of the aggressive war, as well as commission of the environmental war crimes and ecocide, along with individual criminal responsibility of perpetrators who planned, ordered, and carried out crimes intentionally targeting natural environment or resulting into the incidental but severe damage. These objectives can only be achieved through united efforts of all of us. Therefore, we are glad to see the joint initiatives and continuous cooperation on national and international level that has allowed us to make already a significant progress by, first, proclaiming and implementing Ukraine's peace formula proposed by President Zelensky, namely point 7 dedicated to restoring of justice and point 8 on protection of environment. We're glad to see more than 60 states joined it. And we today, first time, have a joint conference which covers 2 elements of peace formula, and I believe we will proceed these conferences which cover several parts of President Zelensky peace formula, because the peace formula of President Zelensky will reach its goal only if all 10 points will be fully implemented. Second, setting up of the high-level working group in support of Ukraine's strategy for addressing the environmental and ecological consequences of the war. We have had today the meeting of the working group, and we have a plan for the next meeting which will give us more strategic results in order how to cover the credibility, international credibility of assessment of damage, how to ensure full accountability for all who committed crimes against environment in course of this war and crime of ecocide, and how we all live in new green Ukraine. Third, establishing the register of damage through the enlarged partial agreement that serves as a hub for recording damages caused to natural and legal persons, to Ukrainian state and the natural environment. Fourth, investigating and prosecuting environmental war crimes and crime of ecocide in Ukraine. Today you had an opportunity to hear extensively about the measures undertaken by my office, by specialized environmental prosecutor's office and regional prosecutor's offices, along with the law enforcement authorities of Ukraine. Investigations into environmental war crimes, investigations into the crime of ecocide, and our plans to prosecute already identified high-level Russian commanders responsible for environmental war crimes and ecocide. During one of the panels, you have heard and witnessed the severe consequences resulting from the destruction of Kakhovka Dam and shelling of the neutron facility in Kharkiv, vivid examples of the environmental war crimes and crime of ecocide. It has been voiced today on several occasions that Ukraine is pioneering accountability efforts, constructing the legal architecture in parallel to continuous fight on the battlefield. Therefore, we all need to recognize and acknowledge that we do not have an easy task ahead of us. It will require considerable resources and commitment, not only for years, but for decades. And Ukraine is ready for it. With that in mind, let me also use this opportunity to express our gratitude to our international partners, groups of states, experts, and advisors assisting in our quest for justice and accountability. And fifth, last but not least, closely cooperating with the international criminal justice mechanisms, the International Criminal Court, the UN Inquiry Commission on Ukraine, and other procedures in order to secure comprehensive web of accountability. These steps and initiatives have been reflected in the presented environmental declaration. It is a proclamation of efforts for our common green future that will allow next generations to live in peace, stability, and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Andriy. And from that point, we are moving very logically to Igor. And we already heard a little bit about different practical aspects of implementing the 8th item of the peace formula. But could you please elaborate a little bit more in details about, first of all, of course, environmental component in the peace formula, and how do you see generally the cooperation with our international partners? Because probably that's one of the most challenging, I would say, most challenging aspects of the peace formula, because environment, it's everywhere. It is about everything, and it impacts everything, I think every aspect of our life. And probably when we are talking about different components of the peace formula, which Andriy mentioned already, today we covered two. I think today we covered mainly everything. So could you please tell us a little bit about 8th item of the peaceful plan, and how do you see the future of the implementation?
Thank you, Elena, distinguished guests, dear audience. I didn't have the privilege to be on your previous panels of your wonderful conference, but it seems to me that I was present here because all the day I was talking about environment, crime of ecocide, and peace formula. I started my day on talking to the participants of the international conference in Sofia, Bulgaria, which entitled Winning the Peace in Ukraine. Very, I think, good title, Winning the Peace in Ukraine. And at this conference, during my interference, I was talking about certainly peace formula. And yes, we mentioned the environmental aspects, and my Bulgarian counterparts were asking me how severely Ukraine's territory is devastated as a result of Russian aggression. Then I had to steal for some period of time Commissioner Sinkevičius, who participated in your conference. And during our bilateral meeting, we discussed not only how EU is helping now Ukraine with the environmental issues, how EU is bringing Ukraine closer to the EU single market, including in the area of environment, how Ukraine is implementing these LIFE projects and what additional instruments Commission is bringing in. But how already now think on transforming the economy of Ukraine into the green economy, taking into account certainly the environmental aspects, because however sad the circumstances are now when we are fighting the Russian aggression, after our victory, we will be given the chance to transform significantly our economy and yes, to start already now thinking about sometimes new sectors, new green sectors, be it hydrogen, be it green metallurgy, be it other sectors of economy. And we talked with the Commissioner on how already now Commission will be participating in these efforts. And certainly we talked about the heavily mined areas of Ukraine, not only land territory, but also water territories of Ukraine. I mean, river, the Dnieper River, the other rivers, the Black Sea, including the coastline. And this is only one of the aspects of this environmental aftermath of the aggression. And that's why when drafting this peace formula, we included these heavily mined Ukrainian territories as a part of the environment, because we all have the experience of our partners, for instance, in Croatia. Already now, almost 30 years have passed after these tragic events that they had in the 1990s, but only now they are finalizing their efforts in demining their territory. And we, taking into account the experience, we are already talking to them and to other countries on the needed equipment, on the needed expertise, on the needed professionals, but we should all understand how difficult and how time-consuming will be the efforts of Ukraine, together with the international community, to conquer these aftermaths of Russian aggression. But certainly, right you are, Olena, this environmental aspect in the peace formula, not only it's global, with which I absolutely agree, it's also non-political, or should be non-political. Because when President was talking, for instance, I remember during the summit of League of Arab States, ahead of G-Summit, he spoke in front of 22 leaders of the Arab world. And he was talking about the Russian aggression. And in response, he heard from the leaders of Arab world that each and every country suffers from the aftermath of Russian aggression. Somewhere it's economy, somewhere it's price of life. But we see that the countries who are champions in, protecting the environment, such as Brazil, for instance, they are also actively participated in the Ukrainian efforts. And yes, we can bring some of the global South countries to this aspect, which is non-political, because we can understand that some countries of the global South may not support this or that peace formula, which seems more political for them or politically biased for them. They will probably not participate in the items about withdrawal of Russian troops from the territory of Ukraine. But they will surely need to participate in the item, which is an item number 8, about environmental issues, about ecology, ecocide. And we're very glad that, for instance, I mentioned this country not for a sudden, because Brazil is actively participating in this process together, which is very good, with our European partners, such as Germany. And Germany is very purposeful in taking the lead in these concrete points, because not only Germany has a huge potential in this area, not only Germany can help Ukraine to transform Ukraine into the green economy, but yes, Germany can also bring some other global South countries to this issue. I really liked, and will pick up the notion which Prosecutor General mentioned about 2 points combined together during this event. It is very important because definitely Russia should be brought to accountability. Russia is a state, concrete persons who are leading the country now. The Russian frozen assets should be utilized, should be instrumentalized in order to repay the damage, including the environmental damage. And that's where President will be working on with his fellow colleagues, leaders, including the leaders of the Global South. And I'm glad that Olena and the participants mentioned today that the idea which President reiterated during the COP27 about forming this global platform of how to repay the damages of environmental aggression or environmental ecocide is in place, is being implemented. Thank you for the efforts from our colleagues from our partner countries who supported and who endorsed this issue. Certainly, when President will be speaking on the next summit, COP28, he will reiterate on this issue. We're thankful for our colleagues. We also have to understand the Ukraine's peace formula. If you ask me to tell what is Ukraine's peace formula about, I will answer, you will try to answer in one sentence. This Ukraine's peace formula is about how to deprive Russia of instruments of aggression other than on the battlefield. Because on the battlefield, we are fighting them successfully with the support of our partners, with the support coming from the countries, be it weapon, be it ammunition, be it financial support, be it political support. But very important to deprive Russia of its instruments of aggression in all the areas, including the area of environment, including the area of ecology. Because, once again, we're living in the global world, and each and every country, be it in Europe, be it in South Africa, be it in Asia, already feels, or would definitely feel, the disastrous aftermath of Russian aggression. We should not let them do that again. They should not let them repeat. Or, if they will be always aggressive, and this is unfortunately the case, they should understand what will be the cost if they dare to repeat this aggression against all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Igor. And probably I will take from there and conclude. You're absolutely right that the issue of the environment is not political. And environment doesn't have borders. It means that it is global. And I think that except that we are fighting on the forefront and we are fighting this war, we have a global mission. We are bringing and initiate absolutely unique case when we are not just trying to investigate and bring to the justice aggressor. We are also helping other countries which have the same problems with conflicts, armed conflicts, etc. Also somehow to assess the damage and then to have justified compensation of this damage and to restore the life of their nations. And that's absolutely probably unique role of Ukraine, which I need to tell you that you, like practically, each day working with these issues, you are bringing this mission to the reality. And thank you for this panel. Thank you for the great initiative about environmental declaration. I believe that even though we are concluding today the day of our conference, but that's a great start. And I hope that Ukraine will be successful on this start and not just on this, of course. And we will win this war, but we will bring something very important to the world, and we will restore the world order with the new rules, which can continue more prosperous life, probably for the human beings. Dear participants, I just have very short information for you. You can see this QR code just right there on the screen. You can find there the final statement of this conference. If you have any concerns with your signatures there, you need to send email till 2 p.m. tomorrow, 21st of October, and just to give us information that you are not agree probably and you are not joining the statement. Otherwise, we will consider that you are supporting our idea and that you are together with us. I hope that we are not going to find any emails tomorrow. And for today, I want you to thank you with your applauses to our panelists and wish you a safe evening and safe night.
Thank you very much, distinguished speakers. So the first day of our summit, United for Justice, United for Nature, has concluded, and we will continue tomorrow at 10 a.m. in this hall. So see you then. Have a peaceful evening and a silent night. Thank you.